Today's topic is free body diagram. So the very first step of drawing free body diagram is identify the forces and their directions. Let's see. First force is weight force, always vertically downward. कोई भी situation में हो. Second one, normal or we can say reaction force, denoted as N or R. But the direction is always perpendicular to surface at point of contact. मतलब contact હોય તો જ force હશે, otherwise નહીં હોય. Similarly, friction force, small f. મારી એવી સલાહ છે કે whenever we draw this force, just write down mu n. તો તમે ભૂલી ના જાઓ. Okay? Friction force means mu n. Mu is coefficient of friction. Its direction is parallel to surface and opposite to motion. So these two forces are depending on surface. જે રીતે surface હશે accordingly એ direction choose કરશે. Yeah? Surface vertical હોય તો friction force will also vertical. Normal force will be horizontal. If surface is horizontal, then friction force is horizontal and normal force will be vertical. Correct? Okay. Next one, tension. Parallel to string, outward from the point. જો string હોય તો tension force હોય, otherwise નહીં હોય. Then centrifugal force, centripetal force, બંને forces છે. Magnitude is mv squared by r, away from the center and towards the center. You know this. And last one, pseudo force, opposite to the acceleration. એ જ્યારે આવશે ત્યારે હું તમને સમજાવીશ બધા. Okay? So theory પર વધારે ફોકસ કરીએ એના કરતા સમ પર જઈએ જે આપણને નહીં આવડતું. So let's take a simplest question. Consider horizontal surface and we have block on it having mass m and we are applying force in horizontal direction such that it will tends to move, okay, but not moving. Tends to move હશે મતલબ steady condition માં છે. Just હમણાં motion start કરશે પણ હજુ સુધી કર્યું છે નહીં. And draw free body diagram and equations. That's it. First step, identify the forces. Bolo. First force, weight. Always. So force must be like this. W, which is equal to mg. Then next, normal force. Surface is horizontal, so its perpendicular will be vertically upward. Normal force, N. Okay. Frictional force, opposite to motion. કઈ direction હશે block ની? Tends to move right side જ હશે. So friction force will be on left side, or we can say negative x-axis. Okay? So this will be your friction force, which is mu n. Yeah? Now step number 2, જે hidden step છે. બહુ ધ્યાન નહીં આપી આજ સુધી, but એ બહુ જ important છે, which is draw axis. x-axis and y-axis. Important એટલા માટે કે બધા forces axis માં include થાય છે કે નહીં check કરવું પડે, જે આપણે નહીં કરતા. કોઈ force include ના થતો હોય, then create components. Okay? બહુ બધા જણનો ભણ્યા પછીનો ભ્રમ હોય કે સર આ force નો component કર્યો, આનો ના કર્યો. આશા કહેશે બિચારાએ એવું તો શું ભૂલ કરી હતી? તો એનો આન્સર છે if force is not in one of the axis, then create component. ડોટ ડાયો હોય, આડો ફાટ્યો હોય તો એને સીધો કરવો પડે. જે સીધો છે એને બિચારાને શું કરવા હેરાન કરવા? Right? So let's draw our axis. This must be x-axis and this will be y-axis. Okay? Let's start your equation. Mostly લોકો right hand side left hand side ને compare કરી દેતા. But મારું એવું suggestion છે કે કામ ચોરી ના કરી થોડી મહેનત કરીએ. Use summation of force is equal to mass into acceleration. In our case, acceleration is 0. That's why we will get sigma f is equal to 0. In x direction, we will get sigma fx equal to 0. આ પ્રેક્ટિસ થી તમને પ્લસ માઇનસ ની પ્રોબ્લેમ થવાની બી ઓછી થઈ જશે. કન્વેન્શનલ બેઝ લઈએ. Positive x-axis means plus, negative x-axis minus, positive y-axis plus, negative y-axis minus. Okay, so which are the forces in x-axis? Friction and applied force. Applied force is in positive x-axis, that's why it is positive. Friction force is in, so that must be negative and is equal to 0. So here we will get F is equal to mu n. Let's say this is your first equation. Similarly, go for y-axis where ma is 0. Y-axis पर क्या forces है? Normal and weight force. Yes. Normal force is in positive direction, so it will be positive. And weight force is in negative direction, so it will be negative. So here we will get n equal to mg. This is our second equation. Now, for simplification, let's substitute the value of n. So we will get F is equal to mu n, which is mg. So this is your resultant force. Ta-da! Clear? આ કોઈ ક્વેશ્ચન નહોતો. આ સિમ્પલ તમને કોન્સેપ્ટ સમજાવવા માટે કે ભાઈ આવો ક્વેશ્ચનમાં સોલ્યુશન લાવવાના, આ સ્ટેપ્સ થી લાવવાના, રાઈટ? So let's try one question. Let's start with the simplest question. See figure 4.8 જે છે જ નહીં, બનાવી દઈએ. જો આમ તો ડ્રોઈંગમાં ટેલેન્ટ થોડું ઓછું છે, બટ હું અલગ અલગ કલરનો યુઝ એટલે કરું છું તમને આઈડેન્ટિફાય થાય કે વ્હાઇટ કલર મીન્સ ઓબ્જેક્ટ્સ, blue color means force, and yellow color bole to axis. Okay, we have one rope and 6 kg mass is suspended at the end. A force of 50 Newton is applied in horizontal direction from the midpoint as shown in figure. We have to find out angle. Your angle should be between rope and vertical direction. So we have to find out this theta. Yeah? Now, let's start free body diagram. First of all, we have to draw weight force. That means this weight force 6G, or we can say 60 Newton. It will be transferred to the thread. So 60 kilonewton is in vertically downward direction. Next force, normal force. Object क्या contact में नहीं, तो normal force लागશે જ नहीं. Next, friction force. Again, surface જ नहीं, friction कौन लगाશે? Got it? Then tension force. Yes, here we have thread. So this will be tension force. Let's say this tension force is T1 and this tension force is T, just T. Yeah? Okay. So we get all the forces. Now next step, axis बनावानो. Yes, x-axis and y-axis. Yeah? So we have to find angle due to this z. We get this theta. હવે થોડું વેક્ટરનું જનરલ નોલેજ ચેક કરી લો તમારા લોકો. x કોમ્પોનન્ટ હોય તો cos હોય કે sin, અને y કોમ્પોનન્ટ હોય એવો ભ્રમ નહીં રાખવો. It is depend on angle. તો એક નાનકડી ટ્રીક છે, તમારે cos કોણ sin કોણ આઈડેન્ટિફાય કરવાનું, સ્પેશિયલી આ ચેપ્ટરમાં. જેની જોડે એંગલ બનાવ્યો હોય ને that will be cos, અને જે રહી ગયો એ sin. Clear? So in this case, he is making an angle with vertical direction. That's why we will get its component as e cos theta, and this will be sin. Okay. અને તમે નોટિસ કર્યું P ખાલી આડો ફાટે હતો એટલે આપણે એના કોમ્પોનન્ટ્સ કર્યા. Rest of the forces are in axis, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah? Now let's go for equilibrium. That means sigma fx is equal to max, which is 0. So let's consider forces which are in horizontal direction. Which forces are in horizontal direction? F and T sin theta. F is in positive x-axis. That's why it will be positive. And t sine theta is in, so that will be t sine theta minus is equal to 0. So here we get t sine theta is equal to f, which is equal to 50 Newton. This is your first equation. Now, let's go for y component. Again, ay is 0, so we don't have to worry about it. Get the forces, positive y-axis, positive y-axis માં કોણ છે? T cos theta. And negative y-axis માં T1 minus T1 equal to 0. So T cos theta is T1, which we find as 60. This is your second equation. Now we have to find out theta. So we should eliminate T. That's it. Yes. Just divide equation number 1 with 2. So T sin theta upon T cos theta will be equal to 50 by 60. T will cancel out. We will get tan theta is equal to, or we can say theta must be 40 degrees. Easy to exam. Let's go for next. We have to determine maximum acceleration of train. પોતપોતાની ટેલેન્ટના હિસાબથી ટ્રેન ડ્રો કરવાની. And the whole system is in acceleration A. Let's see on left side. Now, in which a box is lies on a floor. So this box is lie on a floor. Remains stationary. Stationary means the resultant force must be 0. The coefficient of static friction is 0.15. Let's start to draw a forces. Chalo. First force, weight force, which is always downward. Mg. Okay. Next force, normal force, vertically upward. Friction force. Friction force पहला आपने applied force check कर लिया. See, acceleration is in left side. Whole system moving in left side. So there will be pseudo force, which is opposite to acceleration. Okay. So here pseudo force must be on right side. Okay. And it is equal to ma. So the tendency of block will also on right side. That's why friction force will be opposite to the motion, and that is mu1. So we get all the forces. Now let's draw x-axis and y-axis. Now our object is in stationary condition. So let's take sigma fx is equal to 0. In positive x direction, we have pseudo force having magnitude ma, and in negative x-axis we have mu1. So minus mu1 is equal to 0. That will give us ma is equal to mu1. Let's say this is your first equation. Now let's go for the second one, which is sigma fy equal to 0. Select positive y direction, we will get normal force will be considered positive, and weight force is in negative direction, so that will be minus mg is equal to 0. That will give us n is equal to mg. Equation number 2. Now substitute the value of n in first equation. We will get ma is equal to mu1, which we find as mg. So your m will be cancelled out, and we are ready to get acceleration. Just substitute the value of mu, which is given as 0.15, and g n. So your answer is 1.5 meter per second square. Ta-da! Easy peasy. Next question, example 4.8. આ ક્વેશ્ચન એવો છે કે જેમાં ફિગર ના આપી હોય ને તો ડિસ્ક્રિપ્શન થી ડ્રો કરી શકો છો. We have a mass of 4 kg rest on a horizontal plane. Means આ રીતે કોઈ horizontal plane પર હતું, but then it will incline until 15 degree with the horizontal direction. Let's generalize the case and take this as theta. So mass is just going slide. We have to find out coefficient of static friction. We know the procedure. First step, forces draw કરીશું. First force, સૌથી સસ્તો સારો, weight force. Always downward. Okay. Next, normal force. Perpendicular to surface. કઈ side આવશે? Perpendicular to surface means this. Okay. Next, frictional force. Tendency of block. Yes, slide down. So the friction force will be, yes, going up, parallel to the surface. And that is always mu n. We get all the forces. Go to the next step. Axis बनानु. Very good. Hey, notice करो. If we select horizontal and vertical as an axis, then we will get two forces in inclination. So it is preferable that we have to choose axis like this. Normal and friction force will come into axis. The only inclined force will be mg. So ekna component वाला सस्ता पड़શે. That's why we choose this as your axis. તમે કશે પેલું કરીએ તો I don't mind. Calculation થોડી વધારે થશે. કરીએ? એટલે right? Okay. હવે તમારા લોકોનું હોમવર્ક. Prove that this angle is theta, then this angle is also theta. Okay? કરજો, try કરજો. So we have to create components. This component will be cos or sin? Cos. This will be mg cos theta. And remaining force will be mg sin theta. Very good. Now, next step, equation. Your object is in stationary condition. That's why sigma fx is equal to 0. In positive x-axis, we have friction force mu n. And in negative x-axis, we have, so that will be minus mg sin theta is equal to 0. So mu n is mg sin theta. This will become your first equation. Now, next, let's obtain y components. In positive y direction, we have normal force plus n, and in negative y direction, mg cos theta. So n will be equal to mg cos theta. Equation number 2. Now substitute the value of n in first equation. So we will get mu into n, which we obtain as mg cos theta, is equal to mg sin theta. So mg will be cancelled out and mu will be sin upon cos, or we can say tan theta, which is given as 15 degree, and tan 15 is nothing but 0.2679. બહુ થઈ ગયું. હવે સૌથી મજબૂત ક્વેશ્ચન, જેના માટે આપણે આટલી બધી મહેનત કરી. Okay, let's see your question. What is the acceleration of block and trolley system shown in figure? So your system is in acceleration. Okay, your resultant force will be equal to 0. Acceleration is in right side and acceleration of this block is in downward direction. याद रखो, sigma fx will not equal to 0. Here we have to use sigma f is equal to ma, not equal to 0. Okay, now The coefficient of static friction is given 0.04, and we have to find out tension also. So let's start our forces. Initially, we'll focus on mass M2. Okay, સસ્તું સારું છે એટલે. First force will be downward direction માં weight force M2G, right? And the another force will be tension force T. Clear? So for block 2, we will get sigma F is equal to MA. That sign comparison compromise नहीं करता. Upward એટલે plus જ, downward એટલે minus જ. પછી એ force હોય acceleration હોય ગમે તે. Done? So first of all, consider forces. In upward direction we have tension force, so T will be positive, and mg is in downward direction, so we will get minus m2g is equal to mass into acceleration. Your acceleration is in downward direction, that's why m minus a. To simplify this, multiply minus 1 on both sides, so we'll get m2, which is 3g minus t is equal to 3a as your first equation. Got it? Now let's go for block 2. Draw forces. First force, weight force m1g, then normal force and complicated. Then tension force will be on right side. See, string same here, so tension will also stay. Okay, and due to this tension, which is in right side, motion will also in right side, so friction force will be on left side, opposite to the motion. F, which is equal to mu m. Okay, now let's go for block 1. First of all, consider sigma Fx is equal to max. In positive x-axis, we have tension force, so that will be positive. In negative x-axis, we have friction force, so that will be negative. Is equal to ma, which is in positive x-axis, so that will be positive. Now let's go for sigma Fy is equal to may. In positive y-axis, we have normal force, so that will be positive. And in negative y-axis, we have m1g, so that will be negative. In y-axis, there is no acceleration. Acceleration is only in x-axis. So in the y component of the acceleration will be 0. So here we get 0. So that will give us value of n, which is m1g, or we can say 20g, right? Substitute the values in first equation, we'll get T minus mu 0.04 into normal force 20g is equal to 28. So here we get T minus 8 is equal to 28 as your second equation. Now we have to solve equation number 1 and 2. Just before that, substitute the value of g, which is 10, so this will become 30. Simply add equation number 1 and 2. Get your equation number 1 and 2. Take the summation. T will be cancelled out. 30 minus 8. 22. 3a plus 20a, 23a. That will give us a equal to 22 by 23, or we can say 0.96 meter per second. This is only acceleration. We have to find out tension also. So substitute in equation number 2. So we will get P equal to 20a, which we find out 0.96. plus 8, that will give us 27.1 Newton. There's your answer. Ta-da! मजा करो.